Hey guys, and welcome back to Let's Play MGS3, and this is part 21. We're going to be in the home stretch now, and we're going to likely finish the game today. And let's see. Yeah, pretty much there's only two areas left that we have to sneak through, which, well, they're not exactly hard, per se. It's just you have to manage Eva here, but so long as you keep her consistently moving, it shouldn't be a problem. Because the only thing you really have to worry about are, or at least for this first area, are just a couple of guards that are going to be chasing after you. So you just gotta move quickly. And the rest should be easy. Actually, okay, I just remembered. We're gonna need that sniper rifle. And what else do we need? I could see claymores being something that we'll need. Yeah. Maybe. I think we might be able to get by without that, actually, because the guards actually spawn pretty damn close to you once they do come in. And one of the things I used to do was I just plant claymore mines right behind me, but I think we might be able to skim by without having to do that. And okay, face paint. Right. Also, that's right. We're limited on food as well because we also have to feed Eva to keep her stamina up. So, let's see. Actually, okay, we're not too limited on food. Or at least we have the Russian ration, which, well, it doesn't refill a lot at all, but it helps for like small little bits of stamina that's missing, like right now. Yeah, fine, I guess I'll give her one. And I'll save the python for whenever it gets lower.
This tastes like crap.
Yeah, well, can't complain. Okay. Alright. Another python right up here. Oh boy. Yeah, I don't know what I'm gonna let's play right after Metal Gear here, just because I haven't really thought it through. There's so many games that I kind of want to let's play. Like, I think in the last video I did mention Nier Replicant being one of the options, but I don't know. I'm not feeling too confident because, like, I don't know that game as well as most other people do in terms of like what to do. So I don't want to jump into a blind let's play per se, because I could do semi-blind let's play because I did finish ending A for that game when it originally came out, but I never really touched anything beyond that, and the most of what I know from Nier is through lore videos and just brushing up on how it connects to Drakengard. So I do know about all that stuff, but do I know it well enough to really commentate about it? Not really. And I don't know, it's a thought. One of my friends thought I should do it, but Ace Combat was another option. Maybe 5, because not very many people, at least today, know very much about the Ace Combat series, and I could probably talk a little bit more about that. And oh shit, Eva. Yeah, I really don't like how the third camera angle, or at least the 360 camera angle, sort of faces you back the way you came. Because I did run into the enemies right, like, head on, while I did sort of pre-recording stuff. Oh shit. Come on. Hopefully we can make it. So this is what I mean by this being the trickiest part, with the enemies right on your ass at the start. So you gotta get moving as fast as you can. But as far as I can tell, there's nobody like ahead of you. And this area is pretty much a giant circle. So all you really have to do is just move straight and then take a left over here once you get to the log. Okay, yeah, I'm just gonna feed Eva, because if her stamina gets too low, she's going to stop.
Oh, yuck.
Okay, for the most part, the tough part is over. But I'm probably gonna save in this next area, just in case. Okay.
You want to save? I'll get right on it. Snake, be careful out there.
Don't worry.
Yeah, no more movies. I actually don't know the total amount of movies that Paramedic talks about, but essentially once you hit endgame here, she stops talking about them. And we're gonna leave Eva here. There's going to be a guard that walks straight towards us. Yeah, I see him.
What's wrong?
I hit him, I hope. I hope I hit him. Come on. There we go. Okay. Alright, I've got not wanting spirit camo right now. Okay, yeah, Eva can't see us, but I'm just gonna double check and scout the area first. Oh yeah, good thing I did.
Where'd you go?
Well, I have to scout the area. Just basic tactics right there. Okay. Yeah, it's a little bit of more technical difficulty setting this up, and it's mainly whenever I have to do recordings for my PS3, so it has something to do with the HDCP protection on the freaking PS3. It's such a pain in the ass, because for those of you who don't know, you need a HDMI splitter if you want to bypass that in order to record PS3 footage. However, I think my HDMI splitter is a little finicky, because sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. It's either that or it might be the graphics card, because I know graphics cards can be a little finicky. And essentially what the problem is, it's really weird how I have to sort of solve it. I'm gonna plant this here because I have had guys try to sneak behind me while I go up this route. But yeah, essentially with the shit, I lost my train of thought, sort of. Okay. No. Right. So the way I sort of solved the whole HDCP issue to an extent, whenever it's not receiving on my on OBS, my laptop, is there are two USB ports on my, well, total of 3, but 2 that I mainly use for whenever I'm recording on my laptop. So one's on the right and one's on the left. and the one on the right I usually plug in my microphone, and the one on the left is where my capture card goes in. However, if I initially plug it in the left side first, it doesn't quite receive the input from my PS3. However, if I unplug it, I plug it in on the... Really? I'm over here. However, anyways, as I was saying, if I plug in the card on the right first and then plug it in on the left, then it receives the footage, which is really weird. But this is only whenever I record stuff on like my PS3, so I don't know why that happens. So yeah, just technical bullshit, I guess. Here, get the good stuff for once.
Can I have seconds?
No. We're saving. We gotta ration our foods. Okay. Alright. These guys are a little bit tricky to see sometimes. For once, they actually have good camouflage, or at least the camouflage is working for them. So that's where thermal goggles come into play. Yeah. Okay, so that's a plant. There's a guy right over there. Right there. And there's one on the right here. Yeah, it's been a while. I used to memorize where all of them were. I think it's just those guys right there. Maybe another two over the far left, because that route that I didn't take, that basically just circles around this way. But this is the best bet if you want to sneak through this area. So you have the higher ground, you could pick up the guys, and then you could drop down. Yeah. Gotta double check. Alright, safest bet is I suppose circle around. If you're never too sure, never go directly straight through an area that you're not certain of. And that's sort of like an important rule if you're playing stealth action. Which is why I always say take the long way around if it's your first time through. Because for the most part, people who speedrun through stealth games are just the people who manage to memorize enemy patterns and locations. That's all there is to it if you're trying to speedrun certain games. Okay, and we're off to final part of the game here, so I'm probably gonna like to split the parts here because there is quite a bit of cutscene in this next bit, so there'll probably be a tops of 2 more videos for the end of this Let's Play. So 1 more video for the boss fight and whatever other cutscenes, and then the last is probably just post stuff and like a few of my thoughts, I suppose.
Come on, Snake. We made it.
We made it.
Over there. It's the boss, isn't it? I'll go get the wig ready to take off.
Right.
I'll leave you two alone. But come back in one piece, okay? Promise me!
Life's end. Isn't it beautiful? It's almost tragic. When life ends, it gives off a final lingering aroma. Light is but a farewell gift from the darkness to those on their way to die. I've been waiting, Snake, for a long time. Waiting for your birth, your growth, and the finality of today.
Boss, why are you doing this?
Why? To make the world one again. The world used to be whole. But with the end of the Second World War, the philosophers began to fight amongst themselves, and the world was torn apart. The Cobras, my comrades who trained and fought alongside me, were torn apart as well. The foibles of politics and the march of time can turn friends into enemies just as easily as the wind changes. Ridiculous, isn't it? Yesterday's ally becomes today's opposition, and this Cold War? Think back, when I was leading the Cobras, America and Russia were fighting together. Now, consider whether America and Russia will still be enemies in the 21st century. Somehow I doubt it. Enemies change along with the times, the flow of the ages, and we soldiers are forced to play along. I didn't raise you and shape you into the man you are today just so we could face each other in battle. A soldier's skills aren't meant to be used to hurt friends. So then what is an enemy? Is there such a thing as an absolute timeless enemy? There is no such thing, and never has been. And the reason is that our enemies are human beings like us. They can only be our enemies in relative terms. The world must be made whole again. The philosophers must be reunited. I will devote my skills to that purpose. And with the Colonel's money, I will achieve that end. Just as I once created the Cobras. They are my family. I may no longer be able to bear children, but I still have a family. It was November 1st, 1951. I was in the Nevada desert participating in atomic testing. The name Nevada is derived from Spanish, covered in snow, white as snow. And snow is exactly what I saw in that Nevada desert. It froze my blood white. Snake, you were an atomic test subject, weren't you? On Bikini Atoll. That's part of the reason I was drawn to you. You and I are alike. We're both slowly being eaten away by the karma of others. We'll never have the chance to die peacefully of old age. We have no tomorrow. But we can still have hope for the future. In 1960, I saw a vision of the ideal future from space. 3 years earlier, the Soviet Union had succeeded in launching Sputnik, the first man-made satellite in history, into orbit. This came as a huge shock to the United States, In response, America threw everything it had into its own manned spaceflight project, the Mercury program. Even as the Soviets seemed poised to send their first man into space, America was still experimenting with chimpanzees and rockets. The government wanted human data, so they secretly decided to send a human being into space. I was the one they chose. At the time, they didn't have the technology to block out cosmic rays, and whoever they sent up would inevitably be exposed to heavy radiation. That's why they chose me. After all, I'd already been irradiated once. Of course, you won't find any of this in the history books. I could see the planet as it appeared from space. That's when it finally hit me. Space exploration is nothing but another game in the power struggle between the US and the USSR. Politics, economics, the arms race, they're all just arenas for meaningless competition. I'm sure you can see that, but the Earth itself has no boundaries. No East, no West, no Cold War. And the irony of it is, the United States and the Soviet Union are spending billions on their space programs and the missile race, only to arrive at the same conclusion. In the 21st century, everyone will be able to see that we are all just inhabitants of a little celestial body called Earth. A world without communism or capitalism, that is the world I wanted to see. But reality continued to betray me. In 1961, I was sent to Cuba, to Bahia de Cochinos. It was part of a CIA-sponsored invasion under the guise of taking Cuban exiles back to their country. But the US government betrayed them. Our weak-kneed president held back their air support. Defenseless, the exiles were annihilated by the Cuban army. All I could do was watch in silence. I was set up by the very country I'd sacrificed so much for, by the very government I dedicated my life to defending. I was driven from the surface world, and I went underground. Then, 2 years ago, I faced the Sorrow, my old comrade in battle. He was my friend. But one of us had to die. I was left with no choice. The Sorrow gave his life for me. There is no enmity between us. One must live, and one must die. That was the mission. The ones who gave me that mission were the philosophers. Early in the 20th century, the true holders of power in the United States, the Republic of China, and the newly formed Soviet Union gathered together in a secret meeting that would later be known as the Wise Men's Committee. The secret pact they formed there marked the beginning of the philosophers. But the last of the original members died in the 1930s. After that, the organization began to run out of control, and the Wise Men's Committee degenerated into a mere shell of its former self. The philosophers of today have no sense of good or evil. Their influence extends to countries and organizations involved in every aspect of every war. They have become war itself. That's how they operate. The sacrifices of war cause a shift in the times. This shift leads to renewed conflict and in turn triggers the next war. Like a nuclear chain reaction, each conflict sparks countless others, forming an endless spiral that will continue on for eternity. Do you understand what I'm saying, Snake? By consuming me and you, the philosophers intend to keep that cycle going forever. It was my father who explained all of this to me. He was one of them. You see, I am the last remaining child of the philosophers. But after he revealed the truth, my father was killed by that same shapeless, formless organization. And my father isn't the only thing the philosophers have taken from me. In June of 1944, the Cobras and I took part in the landing at Normandy. We'd been given a top-secret mission to locate and destroy enemy V-2 rocket installations. I was pregnant at the time. The sorrow was the father. I gave birth on the field of battle. A beautiful baby boy. But my child was snatched away from me by the philosophers.
I'll tell you who it is, who that kid is, in a bit.
Look at this scar. This is proof that I was once a mother. I gave up my body and my child for my country. There is nothing left inside me now. Nothing at all. No hatred, not even regret. And yet sometimes at night, I can still feel the pain creeping up inside me, slithering through my body like a snake. I've never talked this much about myself before. Thanks. Thanks for listening to me. I feel content. Snake, commence the operation. I raised you. I loved you. I've given you weapons, taught you techniques, endowed you with knowledge. There is nothing more for me to give you. All that's left for you to take is my life, by your own hand. One must die, and one must live. No victory, no defeat. The survivor will carry on the fight. It is our destiny. The one who survives will inherit the title of boss. And the one who inherits the title of boss will face an existence of endless battle. I'll give you 10 minutes. In 10 minutes, MiGs will come and bomb the hell out of this place. If you can beat me in less than 10 minutes, you'll be able to escape in time. Let's make this the greatest 10 minutes of our lives, Jack.
Boss.
You're a soldier. Finish your mission. Prove your loyalty. Face me. Let's...
Okay, so a lot to think about and sort of talk about. We're sort of hitting the 30-minute mark, so I'll probably cut it off in a second here, but I'm going to share a few thoughts with you guys. So, the boss talked about her child, and for any of you guys who don't know, even though this is pretty much common knowledge among Metal Gear veterans and people who know the series well, but the child is Ocelot, and the evidence is clear as day. If you go back to part 8, I want to say, in my Let's Play, it was, yes, part 8. Ocelot's Origins was the title of it. And the reason why I was really digging around for that Coda conversation is because I didn't really remember how I learned that Ocelot was the child of the boss and the Sorrow. So I looked it up, and I even asked my sister, because she technically is my sister that told me ages ago, like way back when the game sort of came out, because she was talking to like Video Game Senpai and his sister, and we were just talking about Metal Gear lore, and she eventually told me, he's like, oh yeah, also that's the boss's kid. I was like, huh, how'd you figure that out? And then she's like, oh yeah, it should be like a Coda conversation or something like that. And I was like, oh, Okay, so I didn't know how to initiate the conversation until I looked it up recently. So that's why I went out of my way to get that conversation back for you guys to all know. So there's that. And then there's the whole fact of the boss being the first person from the US side into space, as they referred to her as the Mercury lady. I think Sigint tells you that if you call him enough times, but so yeah, it's the case there. And to talk a little bit more about the setting here, all these white flowers. I didn't know what the hell these flowers were when I first played the game. Like, I always assumed it was like, oh, it's probably some sort of fictional flower, or are they lilies? No, they're not. They are a real type of flower called the Star of Bethlehem flower. And in the language of flowers, they symbolize. Let me double check my notes. They symbolize innocence, purity, honesty, hope, and forgiveness. So very beautiful flowers, and I suppose thanks to this game and its influence, they are sort of my favorite flowers. And yeah, guys can like flowers too, so shut up for any fools who want to talk shit. Anyways, yeah, that's gonna do it for this part. So part 21. Next part is gonna be part 22, which is likely going to be the finale. Yeah, so it's been a long trip, guys, and it's going to be a very emotional one in this next part. So see you all in a bit here.